Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for a playoff game between Kenya and Canada. The winner does get to play in Division 2. The loser, they will be in Division 3. Looking through at this Kenyan starting lineup, they are only moments away from the kickoff. It is Kevin Waikesa, Samuel Azati, Amaitsa, Anthony Mboyo, also George Oro, Patrick Odongo Okongo, and Vincent Onyala for their side. Whistle has just been blown, but Thomas Isherwood, he is in the side for Canada. Jamie Armstrong, Sager, also Donardo, Tremblay, Hancock, and also Brendan Black. But the ball is claimed by the Canadians. Side that were demoted from the Sevens circuit last year. Canada, they really are a mixed bag, I think is the best way of describing them. Sometimes they have some fantastic games, and other times they do seem to struggle. But someone who stands out like a sore thumb for the Canadians is Thomas Isherwood, as he is one of the longest and, I guess, prominent mullets in the world of rugby. That is going to be the penalty now going the way of Kenya. Decide to take the quick tap. And now Azati just dropping that ball. And of course, for this live stream, Canada, one of the two sides, but a massive shout out to the women's side from Kenya, who were able to make their way through to the next stage of the competition. They are in Division 2, but now passing it across, and that is a good finish in the corner for Amundi, who will get it over the post, or sorry, not over the post, but over the try line. And Kenya, they have managed to get themselves a try. By the sounds of it, maybe an earlier knock on. So maybe they'll have a quick look at that, but it's a good start to this contest. They are just checking. Okay, they are saying there was a forward pass, but both the touch judge and the referee missed it. So it is going to remain as a try here for Kenya. Commentator's comment was, I'm not sure how you missed that one. So that doesn't bode well for the refereeing moving forward. And Mondi going to be kicking this one off. It will just be the 5 points here for the Kenyans. Canada now just outside of the 22 again, Morgan Donato. And back across to the right-hand side is Isherwood. Pass was a little bit low, but it is well handled. Back to the left. This is where they just need to make those meters, but for now it seems like a bit of a standing start for the Canadians. Let's make it difficult. Amaitsa. Let's finish off the tackle on him, going back across to the right-hand side here for Canada. Big driving tackle from the Kenyans and winning the turnover too. Vincent Onyala, he sees the opportunity to take that one quickly. Does just that, goes off to the left-hand side. Patrick Odongo Okongo has two men with him, but he decided to go himself. Now passing out wide, it will be another try for the Kenyans. Ooh, little bit of a stare down from Amundi on the man who made the tackle on him. I'm not sure whether or not he knows that's what you're supposed to do in rugby, but yeah, seemed like a little bit of tension out there. In fact, this weekend's been full of tension. I don't know whether or not it is down to the fact that World Rugby have switched the Sevens world on their head by just completely changing the whole format after it was starting to work. But a lot of frustrated players throughout this round. Kenya, that is their second try within quick succession. Canada, they are now under immense pressure. That is a fantastic kick from the sideline too, making the score 12 points to 0. Kicked off again now by Kenya. Canada, once again, find themselves just outside of their 22. That is going to be a maul. Now, if that does go as a maul, Canada will get the reset. I wonder if they are oh no, it's going to be Kenya's reset. Now, they did have a rule at one point, that's how often the rules have been changing, that if you did it off a kickoff, you couldn't be held in a maul unless it was going to be the team who was held up's ball. But I guess that was the yesteryear rule. They decided to go with line breaks. At the moment, it's 2-0 in favour of the Kenyans, and they have got themselves possession again. Azati to feed this ball. And like I mentioned, this is for a spot on Division 2. So this is the type of game that if Kenya are going to play like this, they should have a very good chance of getting that promotion. Although they will have to remember what happened for Canada versus Germany, going to golden point time. And in the end, the Canadians able to upset the Germans with a win, which is why Germany are playing Samoa in the contest just around the corner. We're also covering that one on the channel. Big run forward from Kenya. Ball on the inside on Monday. In fact, it's Onyala. And they will get their third try of the match for Kenya. I'll tell you what, they are on a little bit of a roll here, the Kenyans, for this first half. The crowd were already cheering for the fact that Kenya's second division women's side are now confirmed. The Kenyans, they've decided they might as well get all the fans in the same place, same time, and if they do that, of course, the stands have to be reinforced because earlier on, the camera was up top and it was bouncing all over the place trying to hold it on the players on field. We have got Let's Go Kenya, says Goyo, and also Kip has said Go Kenya. And as well, I will mention, I was pretty late scheduling this live stream, so I do appreciate those of you who have popped in. It has been a hectic time. We're getting no breaks in between these matches other than to pretty much make thumbnails, schedule streams, and we haven't even finished doing that yet. I'll probably have to schedule a couple more at halftime in this matchup. 100 seconds have... or 100 seconds remaining, I should say, on the clock, but the penalty does go the way of Canada. Thomas Isherwood will be kicking this one into touch, so Canada will get themselves the line out. Just saying there, it might be the first time that Canada have had the ball outside of their own half in this whole match. So that's the type of stat that doesn't bode well on the scoreboard. And Kenya have been clinical. 3 tries coming already for this Kenya side, about to be thrown in by Thomas Isherwood, or at least I think it will be, taking quite a long time to find the option. Now looping around, Isherwood again does get ankle tap, tries to throw a bit of a rough pass, and it has actually set up quite nicely into the hands of Tremblay. Good stepping from him. Now moving off to the right-hand side here for Canada. Again, Isherwood finds himself situated in the middle. Now, going back across to the left-hand side. That's going to be another step coming. They just need to find a way of breaking through this Kenyan defensive line, which has held strong throughout the first 6.5 minutes. That's a forward pass from Isherwood, if I've ever seen one. I guess maybe hit a Kenyan hand is the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, that was forward by about probably 3 or 4 metres. But apparently they've turned the settings off for forward passes in this game, and Canada are going to be able to make the most, or just short of the line, trying to get up to go again. Kenya just booting that one downfield, and it's going to bounce towards the touchline. Doesn't go out though. Isherwood runs out of space, driven towards the sideline. We are right on the verge of halftime here, but Canada trying to strike before the break. Back across to the left-hand side. 19-0 at the moment for Kenya. Morgan Donaro. And picked up and held there. Kenya managed to get the steal. I think there is a knock-on advantage. And Kenya, they're just going to kick that ball into touch. That is the smart and the safe move. And at halftime in this contest, after what has been a very hectic start, it is going to be sitting at 19-0 for the Kenyans. But we have still got a few more matches coming up in the near future. Like I mentioned, Samoa, they are going to be going head-to-head in their match up against Germany. That is kicking off for 10:30-ish New Zealand time. We've got the bronze final happening at 11:30. 12:05 is when the women's final will be taking place. That is between New Zealand and Australia. And then 12:40 is when we do get to see that final between Spain and South Africa. That's the thing, you're so used to saying Fiji in finals, so the fact that they have not made their way through here opens up a massive window for the Blitzboks, who have peaked at just the right time to be able to make quite the statement. Like I said, I will quickly schedule a couple live streams during this halftime break. It is only a period of about 2 minutes or so, so we will try and make the absolute most of it, seeing as, like I said, there's just no gaps in between the other matches that have been taking place. 1 second, we'll go like that. We'll click on that one. But yeah, it's going to be entertaining. The 2 finals. Spain have the underdog story. The Blitzboks. The thing is, though, in terms of the rankings, South Africa are actually ranked lower than Spain. So what does that do in terms of the opinions of who's the favourite and who's not? I honestly think it could be a pick-em game between those 2 sides, and I wouldn't complain one bit. Second half of this contest, at the moment, one side does look a little bit more of a favourite than the other, and that is Kenya after the start that they have had which was absolutely phenomenal, just flying into this contest, getting try after try early. They're just showing a few of the other players. Earlier on, Paul Pla, they showed him having a snack. He is getting ready for his very important final. But speaking of finals, this is a playoff final per se, and we are now back underway between these two sides. Thomas Isherwood to kick us back off. I've got 50 tabs open. I have found the one with the game of rugby we have got there. Kenya got a good crowd, eh? Says Robert T. And great half for Kenya. Cheers for all these streams. Hamish, you're doing a grand job. Says Nick, do appreciate you being here. And like I said, we've still got a few more to go, but we're almost at the end of what has been one of the most hectic 48-hour periods on the channel that we have had. I think last year's LA Sevens were even more casual than this, but only just. 19-0 at the moment for the Kenyans with the scrum feed. Next game, Samoa versus Germany. That will be to also book a spot in Division 2. This will be a brutal one for the Canadians. Definitely with the Vancouver Sevens. I don't know what they're going to do there with the fact that if the Canadians are in the 3rd division, why do they have one in Vancouver? That one's going to be kicked to behind. Chasing after this one for Kenya. Tell you what, the foot race is being won by Patrick Odongo-Okongo. That ball just did not slow down though, and it will go dead. Can you explain about this tournament? Is there any other left? If so, how will that be? I mean, how will the winner be declared, says the outlier. So pretty much the gist of it is this tournament is a standalone one for the championship. So already Argentina are crowned as the season champions from having the most points. This one is crowning the overall Sevens world champions per se, but it's only a one-leg event, so it's not really any different to the other ones. It's just based off the rankings that the teams have had from the rest of the competition. Next season, it gets flipped upside down. There are 8 teams in the number 1 division. There's going to be a world championship involving those 8 teams and 4 teams from Division 2, which also extends to more than just the 4 teams. They've got extras. It's really confusing. And I don't even think the commentary team really know how it's going to work from the sounds of what we've heard throughout the weekend. Isherwood going to have this grubby here after that kick from Patrick Odongo-Okongo did go dead. So we are going to get to watch on for another 5.5 minutes of action between these two sides. Another step from Isherwood, passing across to the right-hand side. A little bit of space on the outside now to be able to run into. But for Canada, they just haven't created enough opportunity for themselves to be able to get back into this contest. And there is another penalty, though. Kenya's discipline might be the thing that gets Canada a chance here. 1 yellow card in this game could be the difference. And looks like Isherwood again going to be kicking this one into touch. We said his name quite a bit, mainly because there have been a lot of penalties against the Canadians. And, of course, as the man throwing the lineouts, feeding the scrums, kicking the ball into touch, he does get quite a few notes. And if Kenya Sevens stays as a core team in the next season of HSBC World Rugby Sevens Series Division 1, if we win or drop to Challenger Series 2 if we lose. But yeah, I think that Kenya, this is to confirm their spot in Division 2, isn't it? But then I believe they can still get into the World Championship side of things. Sorry, it's confusing, but is this one the last one for this year's season? Oh, yes, so yeah. This one is the last of the 2024-25 series. So, yeah, it's a weird situation because it used to mean a lot more for these lower-ranked sides because they were going to be playing for a spot in the top 12. Now they're playing for their spot outside of the top 8. And they show our true spirit. Says a Lincoln, or Lincoln. Oh, no, it is Lincoln. Now, 4 minutes remaining. Kenya have got themselves the scrum. Going off to the left-hand side, trying to pierce their way through. Nice running forward from the Kenyans. Going off to the right-hand side, chance here to be able to shift this ball. Kevin Waikesa bumping off one challenge from the Canadians, falling the wrong way. And the breakdown for Brendan Black. Kenya just seem like they're on the verge of scoring again. 2-man tackle on Azati. Isherwood hanging on to that ball, but the knees were down. Samoa versus Germany. You pick. I think that Samoa should get the job done. Onyala has just got the job done here again. Maybe they are checking it. And we have, I think, Samoa 33 points to 7. Says Anonym. Oh, so you're going a big one-sided game for Samoa. I have to say in their last game up against Portugal, I do still feel like Samoa are susceptible to a couple tries, so I'd probably boost Germany up that little bit more. But yeah, it would be great to see Samoa and Kenya in the same grouping in terms of the divisions. There's another try for Kenya, so that pretty much makes it set in stone that they are going to be a part of Division 2. Now, misses away to the side for Kenya, making the score 24 points to 0. And we have got there, the Samoans get lazy when they are ahead, lol, says Robert T. Well, I think it's just, yeah, at times certain sides, I think, use up so much energy early to try and get that lead just to then let it slip through the fingers near the end. I mean, we've seen it with certain sides. I mean, France versus South Africa, probably a perfect example because of France scoring twice at the start and then South Africa just running them down for the rest of the game. I am vouching for Germany because of my number, or because of the number of times I've knocked on the HSBC Sevens door, says Goyo. And isn't it a shame that for a side such as Germany, that when they seem like they had another opportunity to get that promotion to the top 12, then the rules change. It's a little bit similar to Kenya. Every time they get into a good position to be able to go back into the Sevens circuit or stay on the Sevens circuit, they then switch it and then they end up outside of the top. Nice run there from Haddock. He's getting a little bit closer. In fact, it was Elias Hancock that time. Now going back across and all held up over the line. Referee's going to check this one, but I don't know whether or not that ball ever reached the turf. Oh, a little bit of push and shove there. Thomas Isherwood's got a mullet, so he probably likes a fight. But, yeah, it's all kicking off between these two sides. I mean, Kenya are up 24-0, so they won't be minding too much. Germany playing soon, says Bruce. And also, who do you prefer, Ireland or England? In what regard? Like, we talking, like, countries? We talking their rugby teams, because of course England are a part of Great Britain. We're talking the Six Nations. We're talking to visit, food. What context? Yeah, he is held up there, Lloyd. Rugby Sevens or Rugby Union? Because very different at the moment. Ireland are probably going to be Division 3, I think, whereas Great Britain are Division 1 for this next season. Getting a massive win over Fiji, beating them by what a substantial margin. Getting themselves to 7th place in the overall standings. Ireland getting beaten by Germany earlier on in the competition. Ready to feed this ball in for the Canadians. And, oh, no, slapped out of his hands by Kenya. It's actually very strategically done, ripped to the turf. And it's going to be another scrum now for the Kenyans. Just 70 seconds remaining on the clock before Kenya confirm their spot in Division 2. Handling errors is 3-0 at the moment, so Canada just nowhere near as clinical as they needed to be in such an important game for them as well. It's surprising for GB to be Division 1. They've been struggling. Well, they have, but they chose the perfect year to be able to get it right. Because, you know, like other years, we've seen them having to fight for their spot on the circuit. But this year, they were inside of the top 8, came in as the 8th qualifier for the men and the women's. And, yeah, both get to stay within that grouping. Samoa is a villain in rugby league, says Anonym. And well done, Kenya. Both men and women have been impressive. Hope the 2025-26 season will be just as good for them, says Lilia B. Going to be kicked in behind by Kenya. Not quite able to take that one cleanly. So Canada now with 30 seconds remaining. We have got the Are We Not 24-0 right now. They are indeed with 30 seconds left on the clock. Canada looking for the offload, so I will have to correct you. It's 24-5 as Canada score the try right near the end of the game. They might be just checking this one for the sideline. We've had a lot of TMO in this one. They've been frantic and busy throughout this time. Quite a few decisions. Luckily, nothing really with the head-on-head or anything like that. So in that last game, one of the South African players knocked himself out trying to tackle a Kenyan. That one has gone over the try line. No foot in touch for James Thiel. So he will score his first try of his career. And now with just the 15 seconds left on the clock, I believe they will have just enough time to be able to have one more reset here. But Canada will be kicking it off, so more than likely the Kenyans can just put this ball into touch if they do get it, which they do. Close to the sideline, they kick it out, and Kenya are Division 2 for next season. Too little too late idea, says Bruce, although it does look a lot better than the 24-0, of course, but 24-5, the end score. Massive tournament here from Kenya, getting some fantastic wins. Oh, I thought he was yelling at one of the Canadians, but he was yelling at his teammate there, one of the Kenyans. We will pop over to the next live stream now, which is Samoa versus Germany. So we'll see you all for the next one.